Hello and good afternoon, class. How are you doing? Hope that you're all fine and safe. Today we're going to continue our lessons in Unit 12, page 34. Our subject today is World War II, right? Remember we talked about World War I last week? Well, today we're going to continue in World War II. So do you know anything about World War II, class? If you do, please post something up on our Telegram post. Tell me what World War II is, when did it start, when did it end it, and who were the Allies, and who were the Allies fighting against. The enemy is also called the axis of power. We will learn that later in our discussions. So in beginning our lesson today, I would ask you, who were the Allies during World War II? Remember we talked about last week, Allies are the friendly forces. They are the one fighting the enemies. So who were the Allies during World War II? Can you please post something up on our Telegram page on who were the Allies? And my second question to you, who were they fighting against? So what country were the Allies fighting against? And my third country, you should know all this, right? Which Asian country also joined with the axis of power? Remember during World War II, there is also one Asian country that joined in the axis of power. After this country bombed Pearl Harbor, you remember that? It's a state in the United States. This country bombed that island, and then which causes the Americans to go also into war. Remember that? Well, my question to you is, which country joined this power? You can answer these questions later on because this will be a part of your first test. I have some pictures here of maps that will show you during World War II. This here is a map or a picture of D-Day. D-Day is called Independence Day, or it is a very important day for the Allies. This is the day when the Allies come together as a group, as like four individual nations. As you see here, Americans, the Britons and the Australians, and also Canadian forces joined together and invade Germany's front. D-Day is one of the most important battles during World War II, because this day also set the trend where they weakened the axis of power, where they weakened the Germans. I will upload these maps to you on this post, on our Telegram post, so you can have a better viewing and we can discuss more about World War II. Can you please take out your book and turn to page 34? On page 34 talks about World War II, but it particularly talks about the Rats of Terburgs. What is the Rats of Terburgs, you ask? The Rats of Terburgs are a group of soldiers from Australia where they're fighting a front in Libya. Where is Libya? Can you post something up on our Telegram post saying which continent or country is Libya in? From your quick readings or your quick viewings, you can see Libya is in northern Africa, where it's connected to almost close to Europe. Where in Africa, the Allies, they were fighting a front in the city of Terburgs, where the Australian armies tried to defend the fronts against the German army. Your reading will also entail more about the Battle of Terburgs and how the Australian soldiers endured and went through during these battles. Okay, let me ask you this. World War I, how does it got started? Can you explain to me, or can you post something up on our Telegram post? How did World War II get started? What country did German first invaded? You can research this online or in YouTube more about World War I and answer my questions. There's World War I, there are many vast histories, but for the sole purpose of our lessons today, we can do a quick, brief review on the general of World War I, and we're also going to talk about the Rats of Terburgs. Okay, for your first task, I want you to answer these three main questions on the board. Answer these three questions. Who were the Allies during World War II? That's the first question. The second question, who were they fighting against? And the last question, which Asian country also joined with the axis of power? You know, got that? And I also have bonus questions for you. I will give you 5 extra bonus points for your quizzes coming up real soon. And this question is, there were 3 axes of power during World War II. There are 3 powers. Can you name the 3 leaders who were in charge of them countries? You can do a little research in Google or YouTube or books, any matter that you need. You will have 30 minutes to complete this task. Once you complete this task, please post it up on our Telegram post. But for the names of the bonus questions, I want you to personally post it up in my personal Telegram page so I can correct it and give you your score, because this will go into your next quiz class. Okay? And please join me in Zoom right now so we can discuss and talk more about World War II. So we can have a further discussions about the war, and I can explain to you more about how it got started, which country got involved, and how the war ended. Okay, class? See you in our next video. Hello class, welcome back to our second video for today's lessons. So how did you enjoy learning about World War II? Interesting, huh? I've seen some of you have a lot of questions for me, and thank you for the great dialogue and conversation in Zoom. Also, thank you for the conversation on our Telegram post. You see, World War II have a great lot of histories. You know, we will have a chance to discuss more on this in a later date, but I'm glad that you understand the importance of D-Day. And as you can see, you have shown me some overview of the maps during World War II. As we have shown here, Germany, Italy, and Japan were the 3 main axes of power during World War II, right? Yes. And you also have given me the names of the leaders for Germany, the leaders for Italy, and the emperor that led Japan during World War II. As we also, through our discussion, we found out that Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, which causes the United States to also enter into World War II. And when that happened, it became a major war, and then it confronted. So let me ask you this. What if the Allies would have lost the war, and the 3 axes of power have won the war? Would the world today be different? Can you tell me? Think about this, and you can do this for some extra credit. Write something in your notebook or in your post, and then submit it to my personal Telegram, or you can even submit it to our Telegram post. If the Allies would have lost the war, would the world be different today, and how? If you write something on that, I will give you some extra credit for your points, okay? Okay, on to our task 2. Task 2 is about our reading text on page 34. And page 34 talks about the Rats of Terburgs. As we through our discussion on our first video, the Rats of Terburg is a group of soldiers from Australia fighting a war in Terburg. Where is Terburg, you might ask? I have a map here. Terburg is in northern Africa. It's in a country called Libya. And this way here is a close-up to the country Libya. And Terburg is right here on this dot. I will upload these pictures on our Telegram post so you will have a better viewing. So the Australian armies or Australian soldiers were trying to hold a front, fighting against the Germans for this prestigious place in the Battle of Terburg. And you can see here I also posted up some tanks which were provided by the British for the Australians to use. These were modern day weapons during those times. These are state of the arts. They used to fight against the Terburgs. As you read this article, you will understand how the soldiers endured the environment, endured the rains, endured the conditions, and what they have to go through when fighting the Germans. And you can it also tells you why they call them the Rats of Terburg. Why did the name the Rats comes up when they call these soldiers? Okay, for your first test, I want you to read all this and answer all the questions on page 35. You will be given 30 minutes to complete this task. Again, if you have any questions on your readings or on your questions or about the overall World War II, please ask me and I will gladly guide you through your answers. Okay, class? You will give me 30 minutes to complete this task. Okay, see you on our next video. Goodbye. Hello class, welcome back to our third and final video for today's lessons. So how did you enjoy learning about World War I and World War II from last week and this week? Was it interesting? Have you learned a lot of new words or new part of history that you didn't know before? I hope you did, and I hope you enjoy learning this. And maybe sometime in the future we will have more time to study about World War I and World War II, so we can learn more histories about the world. Thank you for submitting your first task and your second task. I see that you have understand who were the allies and who were the axis of power, meaning the one that the allies fighting against. In other words, the enemy. You also submitted me some words like Germany, Italy, and Japan were the three axes of power. Remember during World War I, Italy was an ally, right? But during World War II, Italy became one of the axes of power. Why? That is very strange. Did they have a new leader? Some of you have posted that concern to me, and we had a brief communication about that, and I will explain to you why, and hopefully later on in the future I can share you our thoughts about why Italy became an ally to become an axis of power. Why did they change side all of a sudden? Interesting, huh? Hope we can have time to discuss more about that in our future discussions. Now for your last task. Yes, it is homework. For your homework, after the video is played, I will post it up on our Telegram post. It will be a list of questions, class I have here. It will be a list of questions that I will post it up on our Telegram post. You'll be given 1 week to submit in your homework. Remember class, your homework and all your assignments is very important for your overall grade because midterm is coming up real soon. So if you want to get a full grade, full points on your report card, please turn in your homework and turn in all your assignments to me, all right? So I can correct it and give you your grade back. Otherwise, you might get a 0 for all the homework and the task that you missed. So it is really important you send it to me. Okay, class? Okay, until we see each other again next time, be safe and stay healthy, class. Goodbye.